Jackson to 35 of Incarnate Word. Pressure again in Gronowski's face. Rolls to his right, keeps those eyes downfield. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, South Dakota State. Grayton Gannon.
What's today mean for South Dakota State, for your student athletes, your staff, your fans, and you personally?
Yeah, I think, David, when I look back, obviously starting my 16th year here, you get pretty ingrained in the history, the tradition of a school and a place. And I think in athletics, our whole deal is how do we contribute to the betterment of our university first and foremost. And in doing that, what are the pieces that have to be put in place to do that? And to see everybody be able to come together. I mean, we had a 10,000 seat stadium when I first started here, and to think that we're doubling that in attendance today, that it's a sold out game coming off of back-to-back national championships, and that to see the support, the pride, the feel behind the place, the enrollment growth at our university, and you'll feel all of that as our team runs out on the field today. And so for me, just the sense of it took a lot of years and a lot of thoughtful planning to put together the opportunity to have long-term success. And here we sit, we're coming off of a decade of excellence.
Our working relationship goes back to your days at Northern Iowa. And I remember almost standing in this exact spot, 2009-ish, right when you started. And Dyke House Student Athlete Center was not enclosed yet. The shell was up. There was a lot of construction staging material, a lot of things. It was a project. It was a project in process. And I almost look at this now, just as you look around this facility, that was a tiny seedling, right? That your predecessor helped to establish, and then as you picked it up. Kind of describe that journey a little bit, just from when you arrived and some things that were important, building on the beginnings of the
For sure, and if I do that, I do have to go back 9 or 10 years, really probably around the first time I met you at Northern Iowa, and we were doing really a small little master plan. And I believe at the time you were working on Lambeau Field and the Seahawks Stadium and some of these other big projects.
In Dublin.
And a project in Dublin. And yet what I always found amazing was you never missed one of those meetings, and you always counted us as a priority. And so we felt like we were the Packers or the Seahawks. We felt like we were at a top level. And
you were.
And when you do that and when you invest in others, it helped us figure out how to dream. And so in that process, you taught me a lot about strategic planning, facility planning, how do you drive revenue, how do you create a great fan experience, what do all the student athletes and coaches need? There's so many different, when you're on a college campus, there's just different things you need out of facility development. And then you have to stay true to your core values and what your university needs out of you too, and you always respected that. And so I bring that up because as we walked in here and we had a 50-year-old stadium, we had a 40-year-old basketball arena, and we had no indoor practice space in a climate you absolutely need it. And so it could be daunting to think about, well, how are we going to get any of this moving? The Dyke House Student Athlete Center, that little seed kind of gave us all hope, and that there was a chance for us to do some big things. How do we build off of that? There was momentum. Yeah. But we had to put it together, and it had to be thoughtfully crafted because you're talking about almost $200 million in athletic facilities, and most people would run away from that and say, well, we're never going to get to that level, so how do we even start? And sitting down and really putting together that first master plan of looking at, okay, here's what we've got. We had a great scoreboard from Daktronics, and then we had this building coming. And then it was, okay, what are the pieces that we need to put together, and then how are we going to prioritize those as we move forward? And at the same time, the university was doing a university-wide strategic facility plan, so this had to fit in because of steam tunnels and all the runs of power lines and other things that you had to do. This had to fit in with the rest of campus. And so when I think about those days, it's trying to say, okay, we put a lot of stuff on that first napkin, and then how do you turn that napkin into a true strategic plan, and then you start getting it into the process, and then you had to get people excited. We were able to do that, and that was the start of really what you see here today.
The power of the big idea, starting with a master plan. It's, again, this is proof and testimony to how important that is, because money does flow to good ideas. It doesn't at the end of the day.
It does, and I think what happens then is the money flows to a good idea when those people that are willing to support, they have high expectations because they're investing in you and trying to help you get to those big ideas and the growth and where can you see your future going. And when they come into these facilities and they're blown away, you exceed their expectations, well, they turn around and they want to invest more.